Are you nervous?
Not really.
Bro, this
It's
is the
easy.
big leagues, brother. This
This
is
is
the
a big
fucking big
league.
leagues.
Okay. I hurt my shoulder earlier, so let's not do it too much. Right.
All right. How's training?
Training's good. Earlier today, I separated my shoulder and was in a lot of pain.
Separated.
Yeah, I was
Like
crying at the gym, so that was
dislocated?
good. No, it's like where your collarbone pops off. Like you can kind of see it poking out on my
Whoa,
shoulder
whoa,
there.
this is a Zoom. Is that OnlyFans? God
No,
damn.
well, you would
Okay.
have to pay for that, David. I don't give it for free unless it's the Friday night and
How
they
about
offer and they
oh
ask
yeah,
nicely.
at the old fucking midget gathering.
They're easy to grab.
Oh, ouch.
Right.
All
Yes.
right. Okay. So name of the show. I was thinking Blakamoto and Oscar. This
That
sounds
works for
better.
me,
I
dude.
was gonna go
It's
like
so simple.
I was gonna go Blakamoto and Oscar Moto, but
I mean, I don't mind if you want to do that. That would make me laugh.
no, okay. I like Blakamoto and Oscar.
There you
All
go.
right,
Perfect.
so episode 1 of the Blakamoto and Oscar show. You're really close up. I feel like I'm so far away from you.
I can go. I can meet back if you want.
You're like
Ace Ventura looking through the fucking like pool.
no, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Right.
All right, episode 1 of Dave Blakamoto. No, episode 1 of Blakamoto and Oscar. The Blakamoto and Oscar show. Woo! Let's make some noise. We'll start with the first round.
Yeah. I thought it was amazing. First of all, I was like, I mean, who would have said Leon Edwards was going to get the first ever takedown on Kamaru? You know, that kind
Wow.
of made me laugh. And then I was thinking, like, damn, dude, what if Kamaru has just sort of taken his own wrestling ability for granted that he hasn't trained off his back in like 5 years?
I was
What
thinking
happens
the
if,
same thing.
yeah, I was like, what happens if this is like his big weakness? And then, you know, it was interesting. He was doing the right stuff. It was kind of, they both were still feeling it themselves out a bit, or each other out. Either way, they're feeling
Whoa.
something out.
Yeah,
And then,
okay.
and then I felt like when they got up, they kind of both looked a little bit sort of like that was weird and maybe a little bit fatigued. I wonder if the elevation was playing a part. But that was the first round was, oh, like that took it from what I thought we were going to see into okay, unknown waters for a little bit, you know?
Yeah. And then I think that's when the altitude hit Leon.
Yeah,
Because
me
the
too.
only fighter that looked fresh in the pay-per-view was or that didn't look like the altitude was getting to them was Kamaru, and that's because he trains at
Yeah,
altitude. I
I
think
agree.
even like if you fight at altitude, you know, Mexico City, Utah, Colorado, I don't think 2 weeks can even do it.
No,
You,
I actually think it's like you need a month or more to
yeah,
really get to it. And then I heard that once you come down, it goes away really quickly.
yeah,
So it's like a weird thing. I think people think like, oh, I'll go there 2 weeks, get acclimatized. But also you think you're getting acclimatized to training up it, but a
yeah,
fight is more intense
yeah,
than the
fight.
training. So you're not really getting acclimatized to what you
Yeah.
actually need to be
You need
acclimatized
to
to.
be doing all like your VO2 max
Yeah.
workouts there, your lactic capacity,
Yeah.
your hard sparring.
Yeah.
And
And even
yeah,
that's not taking in the adrenaline of the evening, adrenaline of
true.
the
Yeah,
crowd and
yeah,
everything, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
its own unique thing. So I think these guys who sort of think like, I'll train at altitude, unless they're always up there, just ignore the sirens going past my house.
No, you're fine.
Unless they're always up at altitude and they kind of live up there, I don't know if you can really replicate a fight in a shorter time as these guys tend
Yeah.
to go.
So boom, the first round, I'm like, oh, wow, this shit's getting interesting. Well, how many rounds has Kamaru even lost in his whole career?
Not many, right? It
Less
can't
than
be many.
5?
I think Colby probably took a few off him, right? Colby probably took at least 5, like maybe 2 in each, so maybe 4.
Yeah.
Maybe you could argue maybe he took 5, but so Colby took a couple off him. I wouldn't imagine that many more. I would have to think about it, but no, not many is the answer.
Yeah. And then Kamaru's a champion. He bounces back and knows what he has to do. He knows he's got the superior grappling advantage, especially with his chain wrestling and his pressure. Pressure. And then Leon's body wasn't responding.
Yeah.
Just like we saw all night with fighters struggling.
Yeah.
We'll
I thought Leon did a great job stuffing takedowns and getting out of them for the first 2 rounds. It was just as the fight went on that he started just like, it was almost like, I think it might have been at the end of the second where Kamaru kind of took him down and Leon basically just sort of went, okay. I sort of went down, and
Yeah.
I sort of saw the resistance leaving Leon, as I think his corner did as well, right?
Yeah.
You saw them freaking out. I think everyone was like, don't allow yourself to just get in this rut of like going, okay, he's beating me. That's
I thought it was
unfortunate.
taking the second round off, and he was just letting Kamaru work.
Yeah.
Just so you know, because like altitude as well. The person with the more muscle mass, the leaner, bigger physique, requires more oxygen, requires all that sort of stuff, would be more detrimental. 5-round fight, but then Kamaru trains at altitude. It's it's no drama for him.
Yeah, and it's also the problem is with someone like Kamaru, because they're so controlling. If you give them a round, you're giving them such an advantage because they just have to get another couple or not even another one. They've won the fight.
Yeah.
So I could see why Leon's corner was freaking out, because at some point he sort of started striking very, very randomly and casually. He wasn't really aggressive or anything. And he was sort of waiting to try and stuff the shots, which I understand, right? I'm sure Kamaru is an imposing presence in there.
Yeah. And then I guess I sort of thought that Leon was sort of mentally, I think he was mentally getting a little bit discouraged, but his corner was giving him the most fantastic advice, especially the end of the 4th round. Man, his coach, I forget his name, but he was going off. Yeah. He was going off, and I was like, okay, but that's the type of shit that you need in those moments. Yeah, Herb. Was it Herb in the main event?
It was.
Yeah, he refereed that fight pretty well.
Yeah, there was a lot of I was sitting cage side, so I could tell there was like a lot of glove grabbing, a lot of fence grabbing. There was a moment where Kamaru had his fingers through the fence for like a while before Herb.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I mean, in the last round he sort of he separated them, and then I have to be honest, so I was just thinking, I was like, right, okay, so there's like 2 minutes before Kamaru wins. I was like, if I go out that way, I can get to the back before people start leaving, so I don't have to go through the people. I was already mentally checked out and working out how I could get backstage to the media room, and then he fucking knocks him out.
Yeah. I think the whole world, I think everyone watching was on your same mental trajectory. It's a foregone conclusion. Is what, a minute left on the clock. They'll stand around and do some little and then and still, but Jesus Christ, like, man, it was out of nowhere. Like I was like, what am I even? It was pretty scary actually too, because Kamaru.
Not only was it out of nowhere, but the way he hit the ground was
and his eyes were still open too. It was like that shit is scary, man. Like, oh god damn. It was hard to it was tough
especially
to watch.
when they're on the ground for a long time. It doesn't take me long personally to start being like, okay, I hope they move soon. When they're like unconscious, it's like, okay, let's see a sign of life here.
Who was it? Was it on the same card? You got knocked out, and then where the camera was, you could see their feet and their legs were just like twitching and fucking. It's like,
it's a bad look, dude. Yeah, I mean, none of them will be better than like Askren, who looked like he was running in midair.
Oh, ouch! Yeah,
but yeah, so Leon knocked him out. I remember I stood up. There's a fan got a video of it. I stood up and I just put my hand over my mouth like I saw a kid slap their mother. Just complete shock. I didn't even make a noise. I just stood up and was like, oh my god. And then Leon did the McGregor, the Billy strike.
Oh, it was epic.
Then he got on the cage and started doing that. And I
the
was
Rocky,
like,
the Rocky
where's
theme
this
song?
guy been?
The Rocky theme song.
Yeah. But I was like, where's this guy been? He was like dancing. I was like, damn, dude, let's go. He won the title, and within a second he was already.
I think even for him, it would have even taken a while to process, because how many combos and how many things do you try in a fight where it gets blocked, you miss, or it just doesn't work? And then like we're talking the wasn't really a Hail Mary. Maybe it was a Hail Mary because he was down.
It was kind of a
Hail Mary. Yeah, it was
like it was
a Hail Mary, and then boom. But like, but man, what a feeling! And it's good that he didn't, go down and do follow-up shots like some fighters do when they see that a fighter's out. And then,
the old Francis hammer nail just like through his skull. Yeah, that would have been a bit brutal.
But wow, what a moment, And then, Tim rushes in the cage, like, it's a shame that his family wasn't there to experience it, because it was a shame,
but it was cool that we got a FaceTime moment with his mum again.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
after he stabbed Bilal in the eye,
Yeah.
he called his mum and was crying.
Oh,
And I
I
felt,
saw that. What do I do now?
yeah,
What do I
yeah.
do now, man? What do
You don't
I...
understand, mum. It's not that
Mm.
simple. And
Yeah,
then,
no.
yeah, it was cool to have that moment. And I
Oh,
have to
and
say,
then
like,
the FaceTime in the back when he's like
yeah,
talking
so
to his mom. Mom,
he
I
had
did it.
both.
I did it. I was like, oh
Yeah.
my god, I couldn't even.
And there's
But
not
talking,
many like
yeah, go on, go on.
there's not many feel good moments in this sport, really. Like they come very few and far between. There's a lot more ones where you sit there being like, why am I watching this? Why do I let my friends do this and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah.
But him on top of the cage to the Rocky music
Oh,
was really cool. I was like, God damn, dude! Like there is a cool moment.
talking
Felt
about
bad for Kamari
like
though.
that is the same thing, highest of highs and lowest of lows, and talking
Yeah.
about families. I mean, you see the video of Kamaru's daughter?
Yeah, man.
Oh
I have to say,
god,
like, obviously,
damn.
I'm not a parent as far as I'm aware, but I have to say, I don't think I'd bring my children to a fight. I just think it would be like you would have to assume there's a risk that that could happen. And I think for a young girl or boy, it might be a bit traumatizing. But maybe they talk to them beforehand. I don't know. But yeah, that was sad to see. And also, just in the bigger picture of the sport, as happy as I am for Leon, I really like that a Kamaru Khamzat fight just sounded big in my head. So to know
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
gone.
I mean, but like, that's another topic that we'll get onto later. The Hamza Nate thing. The landscape of the 170-pound division. What do you think should happen next?
Well, they're gonna have to do the rematch, right? They're gonna have to
Yeah,
do Leon
Wembley.
versus. I don't know about Wembley.
Why?
Wembley's a big place, man. That's 90,000 people.
Yeah, but I feel
And
like the UK, because I think Dana said it right when they asked about stadiums and stadiums for American shows. He said America is not really the region to do stadiums for fights, but Australia, Wembley. I feel like the UK fans, they just froth. It's in their culture, so they just go
yeah,
to big things regardless of
maybe. I think if you did that, you would have to sort of nail the card, right? I think
Yeah.
Liam versus Kamari is a big one, but then you would have to kind of like that's the sort of card where you'd need Paddy to fight a
Oh
ranked
yeah.
opponent on.
Yeah.
You
Paddy,
need
get Darren Till on there.
yeah, but you'd need to see big fights. You couldn't just have them. I think
Bro.
I'm wrong. I might be underestimating the appeal of the UFC to the UK fans. I've been to watch a fight at Wembley. I went to the Tyson Fury fight at Wembley. It's not a fantastic viewing experience, if I'm honest. Like
True.
it's a pretty like massive stadium and it's
Yeah.
a very, very small ring. So it wasn't like Marvel Stadium when I went to watch Israel versus Rob there. That didn't feel as like what so far away from the cage. But I mean, it would be a spectacle. I'd like to see it. But then the problem is, right? If you were going to do Wembley, you would have to do Wembley properly. Like you would have to have crazy entrances. You would have to have
True.
fireworks. You'd have to make it like a big fucking thing. I don't know if the UFC like doing that. They kind of like their entrances to be sort of similar, brand like homogenous, trying to make them all like the UFC entrance.
No, I don't know because I was talking to old Craig, the VP of Operations and Productions, and he seems to like. Yeah, see, I'm moving on up. You know what I mean?
Look at
I'm moving
Mr.
on up.
Compact over here.
So Craig and I, old friends. We go way back.
Yeah. You went to school together, right?
But
Yeah, sure.
3 or 4 weeks ago when we met, and then it was just
Just
nah. But I think I don't know. I don't know. Dana said it, but then he said it was half joking and half serious. But I think, but then it's outdoors, isn't it?
it is outdoors. It's got no roof, and then there is a stadium in the UK that does have a roof in Wales, so maybe they could go do that.
Yeah.
But I think if you're going to do a stadium in the UK, like you have to kind of for the international audience, you have to do Wembley, right? That's the one they know.
True.
But the UFC usually go to London in March. I don't know if I'd do an outdoors event in March.
Is it winter time?
And it's kind of like it's coming out of winter, but it's also still pretty grey and potentially rainy.
Okay, matchmaker Oscar. What do you do? Welterweight division.
I do Usman versus Leon or Leon versus Usman now.
How much time do you think Usman would take off?
Not that long. I have a thing. I imagine when we hear from Kamaru, it's gonna be I was winning that fight. I was fucking him up. I was doing whatever, and he got a good shot, but a lucky shot. Fair play for landing that shot, but he got it because I made one mistake.
Yeah,
a rematch will be easy work. Let's get it done. And I imagine that Usman's the kind of guy who's going to see how everyone is sort of celebrating Leon's success, and he's probably, if I sort of from what I know of Kamaru, he's a very competitive guy. I imagine he's sort of thinking like, okay, well, I'm going to enjoy shutting all of you up.
Yeah, of
so
course.
I don't think it'll take that long. I think we'll see him in the first part of the next year.
So what's that? What, 6 months, 7 months?
Yeah, 6 months maybe. And I think Leon would want to do that soon because it's going to be a big, big fight. And he now makes that sweet pay-per-view money.
Yeah.
So I think we'll see that soon. Then obviously you got Khamzat versus Nate. I would hazard a guess that Khamzat might be the slight victor in that one. And I think
you never know though. Also the other thing, how the ending of Leon's last fight, Nate caught him, and then the ending of this fight. Oh my god, I don't say this often, but the universe.
Leon should have come out and be like, Nate taught me everything I knew. Just wait, and then get him at the end. But I think the problem is, if you say Khamzat wins that fight, but then he has to wait for the winner of Leon versus Kamaru, he's sitting around for ages doing nothing. So then I think you call Colby and you say, look, I don't know what's happening with you.
That's a big dice roll. That's a big dice roll.
What you think? You think what Colby would beat Khamzat? But then but is that not a massive fight anyway? Khamzat versus Colby. I can hear how unimpressed you are with Khamzat from the other side of the world.
No. I'm not saying I'm impressed. No.
I can hear it.
No, he's a legit fighter with legit skills. But I'm just saying. Well, wait. First of all, we thought that was a movie moment. Rocky.
Yeah,
if Nate comes out and puts Khamzat away in a 5-round fight, oh my fucking god.
Yeah, that would be unbelievable. If it's not even that, if we get to round 3 or 4, let's say we get to round
Nate
4.
wins. If it's round 3, Nate wins. I can't even.
Let's say we get to round 3 and that goes for a takedown and Nate stuffs it. Then the crowd will go absolutely mental and it'll be great. And Nate has that amazing ability to win even if he loses, right? He manages to get out of every fight as like the moral victor.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that'll be enough for him. But listen, he wants to go fight Jake Paul and he's going to go do that. Okay. That's just what's going to happen. We all need to accept it. We all need to take it into our hearts and be okay with it, you know? So I think Khamzat will win, but I think Nate will get more money in the end, which is probably what he wants. But so I would do Khamzat versus Colby if you can get Colby to fight. If you can't get Colby to fight, put Jorge against Khamzat. Or Gilbert, actually. Either one. All I ask is you put them on the same card. Get all those like 4 welterweights on the same card. That I think is the best way to move forward. And because whatever combination you get, Khamzat Kamaru, Khamzat Leon Jorge, Kamaru Jorge, you know, whatever way you want to do it, you're going to get some like pretty cool fight coming out the other side of it. So
I like that.
Yeah, that's what. And the press conference will be great, baby. Let's go. Let's make some money here. Let's get the views.
Well, for who? For Nate and Khamzat?
Well, I guess Nate. If Nate leaves the UFC, it doesn't really benefit him. But I'm thinking more of the views and what I want. That's how I operate in this industry. What gets me the views?
Media hoe, clickbait, fucking dick sucking media hoe.
I know. Next press conference, Alex Volkanovski is going to go mental at me. You know?
Okay, enough about the main event, even though we could talk about it forever. Co-main. Costa versus Luke. Oh my god, that was a weird fight.
It was a weird fight. And I have to say, as we were going through the second round, I started getting a bit sort of in my conspiracy theory moment head. And I was like, I wonder if Paulo Costa bet on a decision win here. Because the odds weren't as good for like they were better than a finish.
Yeah.
And I just sort of thought like, man, Luke is about as close to like unconscious as a conscious man has ever been. And I felt like Paulo could have knocked him out. Paulo's gone on to explain that he just was a bit too cautious and a little bit too gassed. But while I was sitting there, I was like, man, this really feels like this fight could be over.
Okay, finish.
For Luke to carry on while he was like that fucking gassed.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. I'll give him that.
So Luke had staph and was on antibiotics when he fought Weidman to win the title, and he was exhausted. Like he thought he had won it in that 3rd round, and then they were like, no, 4th round, but he was done. Yeah. And then he came out wearing a leg sleeve on his left leg, so he had staph again.
I don't know if he had staph again. I know that he's just had like serious, like he had to have.
I think they said it on the broadcast.
Oh, did they? Oh,
yeah.
I just know he had to have some. I haven't seen. That's the disadvantage of being out there.
Because he's had issues. He's had issues with that same spot.
His left leg's been fucked forever. Like he had to do some crazy skin graft on it and stuff like that. So yeah, and when I saw him coming out in the sleeve, and everyone's talking about how old he was, I was like, good. The fucking guy's held together by string. Like when you see that big thing on his leg, and then he was so tough. He took those shots, and I found it very like kind of weird but funny that he would like put his hands on his knees, take a big deep, but no, he'd put his hands on his knees, take a huge deep breath, and then throw some like mad 360.
Yeah.
He was like, just have a jab.
I was laughing, but like I'm not like delusional. I know that my cardio is not even like 0.5% of what Luke's is, but I was like, come on. But yeah, I think it was the whole altitude thing. Don't put Costa where there's altitude. Like that man needs more oxygen than fucking
But it was you can say it was a weird fight. It was an entertaining fight. It was a wild fight, and I think Luke ending the fight like posing on the cage with his abs out. Like, yeah, man, I'm fucking old, dude. Time for me to hit.
What about when he was? I think after the first round or something, he was rubbing blood all on his face and looking at the big screen, poking his tongue out. I'm like, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah, listen, I don't think it would be out of order to say Luke cares about how people are looking at him. So I think there was an element of that, but I think Luke is always like, even this fight week when Luke's been talking about some cool stuff and like some stuff no one else really talks about.
The samurai chat.
Yeah, man. But I just thought that I thought that it was pretty cool that he got to show that despite everything, like despite how he looks and stuff like that, he's still just a tough motherfucker. So I respected that, but I do think maybe he should consider making that his last one. You went in there.
He said that, yeah.
Yeah, but he said that at 4,000 feet above sea level. Like, how is he going to feel when he comes back down? Then he's going to be like, "Yeah, go on." Like, he could fight Weidman. He could fight Weidman again. Like, you could see.
This is what I like: the older fighters, the ones on the way out, fighting each other, having competitive fights, not fucking putting Khamzat against fucking Nate.
Well, there you go. Luke Rockhold versus Nick. Do that. You can get Nick out. The Nick's fought at 185.
The geriatrically.
But yeah, I think the geriatrically. Bellator's still there. But I think
we don't shit on Bellator. Bellator has some high level fighters.
I like MVP.
I love MVP.
Yeah, they have good fighters, but I think it's fair to say that there was a period where they were booking Ken Shamrock versus Royce Gracie 4.
I did not forget. Well, UFC booked fucking CM Punk versus
CM Punk was a sprightly 36 years old when that happened.
What do you mean? Sprightly 36. Okay, on that question about other promotions, I don't know if Costa got it wrong when he said that was the last fight on his contract.
I think he clarified today with Mr. Ariel Helwani that he's got one more.
But like for me, like if I gamble on a fight, like I put a parlay on a multi on, my eyes are open. I'm watching every single second. But for a fighter to go in knowing that's the last fight on the contract, and they need I like the pressure. Like Francis, I don't know how Francis did all that. No ACL, company against him, fighting his arch nemesis, used to be friend, ex-coach. Like, oh my, and it was down 2 rounds, came back in the third, won by wrestling. Like, I mean, like, oh my, like the pressure must be immense.
Well, that's why they do what they do, and that's why we sit here and talk about it, because they're not normal people. They're insane.
But do you think we'll see more of that though? Fighters fighting out the contracts?
Yeah, I think so. I think for better or worse, and for some of the weird stuff he does, Jake Paul has bizarrely brought the topic of fighter pay like into the sort of the mainstream consciousness, or mainstream of the UFC anyway. So I think now fighters are realizing, and also like, so he's done that, and as he's done that, PFL have like now very sort of openly paid like guys way
Shane
more money.
Burgos, yeah.
Shane Burgos, like Anthony Pettis is getting crazy money over there. Kayla Harrison's getting paid really well over there. So now I think fighters are well aware that, okay, Whereas in the past, free agency kind of didn't mean anything because who's really going to offer me like a substantial pay difference?
Yeah.
Now it is a viable option. So I think you'll see a lot more guys trying to test free agency. Even Nate trying to fight out his contract has probably made other guys who never really thought about it go, well, if Nate wants to do it, I should probably do it. So I think you will. And like Paulo Costa said, he got paid $36,000 for his fight against Marvin Vettori. I think that's pretty low.
That must be a lie.
That
must be a lie.
That's what he said today. I mean, that's pretty low.
I think fuck all.
He's on a very, very old contract, right? I think he's on a really shitty contract. So I think he will fight it out. I think if he's got one more fight, he'll probably fight in Rio in January. And he did say today on the MMA he wants to fight the winner of Rob Whittaker or Marvin Vettori. Those are good fights. I don't know if either of them would really fancy going to Brazil to fight him though. Maybe they would. True. Rob has said he wants to travel. It's kind of a weird. Those three are in a weird spot, right? Because obviously they both fought Israel. And it's like unless Costa could get a rematch because he's the only one who hasn't had a second fight against him, But they're all like kind of in a weird spot in that division.
For Costa to get a rematch, he would have to he has to go through Whittaker. He's full Vettori. Who else is there?
Well, he lost to Vettori, so that's
he lost to Vettori.
He would have to probably beat. He'd have to beat Rob. He'd probably have to beat Cannonier, and he'd probably have to beat maybe if Israel beats Alex, maybe they have to fight him as well. Maybe
when
I was being professional reporter there. That's what I was trying to do.
Did you watch the reaction video?
Not yet. No, I'm a busy guy, dude.
You skimmed through the breakdown. You haven't watched the reaction video to help the algorithm.
I saw.
You're on my show. We're supposed to be friends.
I saw the clip where Israel was clearly like absolutely heartbroken that Kamaru lost, and I was like, oh well, Leon's like paradigm. So that they've got the management team. So I felt bad for Israel. And that's one of those fights where it's a tough one where you like both guys. I hate that when you like both guys.
Yeah, it's one of the hard parts of the sport.
Yeah, that's just shit.
One thing I don't like too is like the memes of Usman and oh my god, the fans they need to do better. But hey,
that's listen. That's never going to happen.
I know. That's wishful thinking. That's wishful thinking.
I think you're going to get peace in Israel and Palestine before you're going to get MMA fans being nice to people.
Oh my god! All right, so what do we have coming up next couple of weeks? Got Khamzat Leon. Who is that? Can't even stacked.
They just put Tony moving up to welterweight on it.
Yeah, what's that about?
I don't know, mate. I mean, him moving to welterweight is like, okay, that's a reasonable move. I thought he should have fought Dan at lightweight.
Does Dan have a fight? No. Dan put a post up. He said he's a happy man winning. He's got a fight. Who's Dan fighting?
I don't know. I haven't spoken to him about that yet.
Oh my God. Do your fucking job, okay? Okay.
I don't like.
You can't do my job. I can do your job. Okay.
Oh my God, it's another Adesanya.
Okay. Do we have anything else to cover?
Merab and Aldo.
Let's talk about that. Merab and Aldo. What was your thought of the fight?
Didn't love it. Didn't love it when they booked it. Didn't love it when it was happening.
True. Yeah.
I like Merab. Listen, I like both of those guys, and I'm not trying to shit in it. I just felt that maybe that was another one Altitude kind of got into where it was a good first round. Aldo's takedown defense is unbelievable. And then I think in the second round, Merab kind of realized, like, man, this guy's so fast on the feet.
Yeah, the whole Altitude thing was so visible. Like, even as Aldo was throwing punches, in the first round he was on. One thing I didn't like about Aldo, the same thing, the leg kicks. Like, he threw, two in the fight? But even still, after the first round, even when he was throwing straight shots, they were so labored. They were so... I was like, damn, this whole Altitude thing.
I think the Altitude thing really did play a difference because even Merab is, like, notoriously good at cardio, right? He's the machine for a reason. Yeah. And he stopped fighting on the feet because I think he found it easier to just sort of get to the hips and rest against the cage. So it wasn't exactly like a fan-friendly fight. And I was sad to see Aldo lose. I like Merab, but I think, like, Merab's got a very long time ahead of him in this future and in this sport, and Aldo doesn't. And I really kind of like the idea of Aldo fighting for a title again. I don't know if we'll ever see that now.
Didn't Merab say that Aldo told him that was his last fight?
He did, but again, I wonder how many. I wonder, like,
does Merab speak Portuguese?
I don't believe he does. nor do I think Aldo speaks much fluent Georgian. But I feel like it's very easy to think I'm going to retire after a really lackluster performance. But I feel like the UFC should go to Aldo and go, look,
Rio.
We're going to Rio.
Yeah.
You're the king of Rio. Get down there and show these guys what
Who would you give? Okay, who would you give? I feel like Aldo can do this right. And I'm saying that, like, Rio can be his curtain closer, and he wouldn't go and do, like, fight longer than he should be and go do boxing and do all that sort of stuff. Because Aldo should have made plenty of money.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But who would you give Aldo for a nice curtain close or curtain?
There's only two people
in Rio. So Rio, Rio, Aldo, and in your mind, you want to give him an opponent that he can finish and fucking celebrate in the crowd, jump the fence, and fucking do all that.
There's two people.
Who?
It's Aldo Cruz or Aldo Dillashaw. If Dillashaw loses, Aldo Cruz. What the fuck are you talking about? That's a legendary fight.
Wait, why Dillashaw? Isn't Dillashaw fighting soon?
But if he loses to Aljo,
when's that fight? Oh, October.
Plenty of time.
That's still a high level fight though. It's still.
But before Merab, he was on his way to a title shot. If he'd have beat
Merab, but you want a guaranteed sure victory.
Well, then I think Cruz is still.
You want to try. You want to try and create like a movie.
But you want the scenes. That division is pretty hard to guarantee a victory, and every bantamweight's an absolute savage at the moment.
But TJ,
I haven't fought Henry Cejudo. That can be Henry's return fight.
Henry Cejudo. You're not giving me any good options over here.
I think Dominic Cruz is a solid option, and people will agree with me. That's the option.
Let's talk about Tyson Pedro real quick. Oh no, we can't skip the female fights because it was a decent fight and there was a finish. And their names are
Wu
and
AC. So it began with it was like Lacey.
Is it? Do you like the way I just handed that off to you?
The problem is that I remember their face off. It was great, but while they were fighting, I had to be watching some other stuff, so I didn't get to see them. I had to watch Anthony Joshua have a meltdown instead.
Oh yeah, that was I didn't watch the fight, but I saw. Well, the names are Yanan Wu and Lucia Puldilova.
What did I say? Wu and Lucy.
You said Wu and Lucy or AC or some shit.
I said Lacey.
Yeah. Well, so what happened to Joshua?
We lost the fight.
Were you watching the fight as well? Like, did you watch the fight?
So during theirs, I was watching Joshua fight.
Yeah.
And he fought really tried, I think, and then Usyk was just better. And then after the fight, it sort of
better in what way?
He just had much movement. He was much faster. He could fire off 5-punch combos where Joshua couldn't.
He put on weight too, didn't Usyk put on like 25 pounds?
Not as much as people were making out. People they started that rumor, but he didn't actually put on that much weight. He was very, very quick. I think Joshua struggled with a southpaw. Just wasn't a good. It's styles make fights, and I just don't think Joshua and Usyk match up well for Joshua. So the fight itself was good, but Usyk was a better man. And then I think as that sort of started sinking into AJ's head, like, oh, I tried, I lost. I don't think he handled it very well.
Yeah.
Throwing the belts out the ring and.
Were those his belts or Usyk's belts?
No, he took them from Usyk to do that.
Oh.
Yeah, he was like, can I just borrow those for just 2 seconds? And then fuck off and threw them out the ring.
It's weird, but fucking you can't blame them. Like,
no, I think it's funny because Joshua has always been accused of being like fake and like constructed. That was the first, he was really upset. He was showing a real emotion. Like I don't think you can fault them. And also you can't really fault someone who's just been punched in the fucking head for 12 rounds either. Like you got to kind of give him like a day to, get over it. So yeah. But that's why I didn't get to see Wu and Lucy's fight as fuck. That's why I didn't get to see that fight.
Wu and Lucy Paldovich.
Yeah,
I knew
that's why
these from the start.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I can tell that actually, by the way. What happened during their face-off? Do you remember? You remember that, right? What happened in their face-off?
What, in the cage?
No, their face-off in the weigh-ins, like the ceremonial weigh-ins. You remember, right?
They locked eyes.
Yeah?
And they faced each other. Yeah.
Would you say they faced each other? It was amicable, right? Like you would say it was, they like lit like they were throwing friends.
No, there was some animosity.
Was there?
Yeah.
You sure about that?
Yeah.
How was that displayed?
No, I'm talking out my fucking black ass.
No, the
Wait, so what did happen? What point were we trying to make?
Wu was like doing that to the crowd. Then when she turned around, Lucy was like trying to fucking head it. Like, it was a bit intense.
I'm Wu.
Because Dane is usually like Mr. fucking quick draw. Yeah. He's kind of like looking away and then turned around and was like, "What are you doing? Stop!" Like it was really like weird. But yeah, I didn't get to see that fight, unfortunately. I wish I did.
Tyson Pedro, you saw his finish?
So I went out to watch Tyson because I'm a big fan of Tyson Pedro. So I got to watch him. From my angle, he punched Harry Hunsucker in the face. Harry Hunsucker immediately was like, and then he got dropped with it. Oh, my light just went off.
Wow, you fucking unprofessional. You fucking bum.
Excuse me, I'm just gonna go buy. I'm gonna buy light zoom.
Yeah, pay for your subscription, you bum.
I do have.
Pay for your light subscription.
I've got.
Is that your phone that you're using now? Oh, it gets worse and worse. It gets worse and worse.
Are you stretching this shoulder?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, and I just have to get closer for no reason. I thought Pedro looked amazing, dude. I thought he looked fucking great. Yeah. And I think the way he was sitting in the octagon, just taking it all in, was awesome. And I think he's got like potential to really, especially in that division, like kick on and become a bit of a star.
Yeah, I feel like he's had nice matchups his last two fights. Two good fighters for him to come back after 4 years too. Yeah. But I think he's ready for a bit of a step up.
I think he clearly has talent,
most definitely. Yeah, most definitely.
I think what's he been like down there around the gym? Because I know he came over to you guys, right?
Good. Yeah, the boys love him. I only hear good things. I don't go in there and train with him, but yeah, I only hear good things.
You don't want to damage them while they're getting ready for a fight.
Of course, no, you know what I mean. Fucking your uncrowned one. He's a guns out. The uncrowned 145-pound champion. We said down like that. We said down like I got no definition on that.
Goodness gracious, gonna hurt somebody with that.
But yeah.
How many limbs would it take for you to lose to get to 145? 3? Is it 3?
No, I stay on weight. Okay. I stay on weight. How much do you weigh?
I would describe it as a generous 165 pounds.
But what weight class do you identify as? It's 2022.
I think I'm going to fight at 155 in October, allegedly.
Oh, okay. Are we going to see?
If this shoulder doesn't fucking like destroy my chances.
Do you do physio and like all that type of stuff?
No.
Should probably start.
I want to start doing massages. That's going to be my next step.
Whoa! Didn't some NFL player just get fucking obliterated? Like $5 million fine, banned from 11 games.
I don't know if he was getting the same massages I plan on getting. I plan on getting sports.
No, it's the same one.
No, he was the same. Okay,
it's the same one that you plan on getting, isn't it?
You know where he went. You know who he went. I need some recommendations.
Oh, actually. Yeah. So,
can I take my own lotion? What do we need? I don't like. Yeah.
Yeah. So once you find that or attack, just let me know. Yeah. So next thing.
Well, no, I can promise you Vegas has none of those sort of places. I can assure you. Not because I've been, but because
you live
Vegas
in
is a
Vegas.
seedy
You must get up to like some seedy shit.
I'm in camp, so you know.
That was the worst response you could give. I could see you thinking about having flashbacks in your eyes. You're just like, oh.
It's everywhere. Oh my god,
midgets everywhere.
Usually just 7. You know, 7.
All right, let's wrap up because I know you're hungry.
Yeah, I am hungry, bro.
All right, so thank you guys.
I'm gonna have chicken and asparagus because I'm a healthy guy.
Cutting weight?
No, I'm just trying to be healthy. Like I've been on the road.
I hear asparagus makes your ticket smaller.
Does it?
Yeah.
That would explain.
You don't want that.
Does it actually make your dick smaller?
There's research been done.
Interesting. Good to know.
Yeah.
I thought it was the steroids. It's just the asparagus.
Oh, nah. All right. Thank you guys for joining us.
On that beautiful note.
On that beautiful note about sports science and USADA protocols. Thank you for joining myself, Dave Blakamoto, your uncrowned 145-pound champion, and
Oscar Willis, the best reporter in the game.
What?
Second best? You can have the first. Neither one.
I can't talk shit. The best reporter in the game at the moment.
Yeah. The rest of them will love that. The rest of them will really respect my confidence.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us. We are going to be doing this show once a week. We will have some special guests on from next week, hopefully. So stick around and we will see you next week.
Is that how we end it?
Is that white power?
No. The connections. No.
The connection. I'm lagging.